Now time to harvest yarrow, and it's doing so well this year. I'm so happy. I don't know if you can see all the little critters that love it, but I love it too, so they gotta back off. There's a good size patch of it here. I have several across the property. This is actually a smaller one, but this is usually where I harvest, because if I don't, the goats will just eat it anyway. So here we go.
So I didn't bring in a ton of this because, well, I already have plenty made up, but I wanted to show you the process. And this is about a good basket full or an armload full. They smell wonderful. I love yarrow. So what we're going to be doing here is dehydrating this. And the process is a little bit different than perhaps some other things. You may notice with, some leaves you can just lay on there and dry them. But if you cut these flowers, look what happens. They fall down through the grid, and we don't want that. We want these in one place where they're easy to manage, where they're easy to remove and process. So you could lay the whole branch on one of those, and that would dry, but because they're on the stem, it would take a lot longer, several hours longer. Where if we cut these up and then put them in the bag, they will dry in just a couple of hours. And the stems I can use for a different type of infusion. So that's exactly what I've done. Now I'm speeding up this process because it's a bit tedious and I didn't want to bore you with me just trimming flowers. But what I can tell you is that I love doing this. It is so relaxing just to be able to not think about anything, just trimming the flowers, pulling off the leaves. That's what I did repetitively for about 15 minutes, and really was a peaceful experience. I love doing things like this. And when life is stressful, as it has been a bit lately, this is the perfect foil to that, and something I enjoy. And I have a lot of things that I dry and process. Why do I do this? I am not a doctor. I'm not even what I would call a naturalist doctor. I do believe in modern medicine and I use it if I need it. This is more for the everyday maladies, the occasional cramp that you may get in the tummy. And I'm going to list some articles in the description of this video, and I really suggest you look at those. There are many, many articles on this, but I'm only naming 3. But I'm giving you links so that you can read several others as well. And there's a lot of science behind yarrow and its uses for things like cramps or different kinds of reactions. So I want you to read up on it. And I keep it on hand at all times because of that very thing. So I put it in the bags here, dried it for about 3 hours, and now it's ready to use. It's completely dehydrated. All the moisture's been removed, and we just have dried flowers and leaves. It's wonderful. And the next process is just to get this ground up. And like other things, I do go through a multi-step process to get it to the desired texture that I want. Now, this isn't going to be used in soap for colorant or anything like that. This is going to be used in a tincture. So it doesn't have to be a fine powder, but as much of the surface area as I can expose to the tincture, which is going to be, of course, an alcohol, it does a much better job of removing those constituents from the yarrow. Now, as with many herbs and other botanicals, there are some of the constituents of the herb that are water soluble and some that are alcohol soluble, and even with some things oil soluble. So do your research on which are which. With yarrow, I will be mixing both water and alcohol to make sure that I get out the water soluble and the alcohol soluble constituents of it. And this is really all there is to it. This is not a complicated process. And I enjoy it. It's something that gives me a lot of peace. It really does. And if you make your own, and I know several of us do, several of us soapers, Jen over at General Soaps, I know that lovely Renee at Soaps for Love, and some others do the same thing. None of us are limited. We do what we do because we love what we do. And I hope you've enjoyed this. You will see in an upcoming video what I'm going to do with this. And I have a couple different things that I'll be using this for, and I look forward to sharing that with you. But if you have any ideas, if you have any questions, I hope you'll ask in the comments. Leave me your suggestions or questions or complaints or anything at all. And I'd love to talk to you. I try to respond to every single message that I get. Sometimes I miss them, I know, and I'm not sure why. It's a YouTube glitch, I think. But thank you all so very much. I love doing this and love being able to share with you all. Thank you so very much, and I'll talk to you again soon. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Goodbye.